Zatanna, Bring Down the House, issue 4, Mariko Tamaki writing with Javier Rodriguez on the art. So, Zatanna has her powers back by the end of this issue, and we find out that her father took her powers. That was actually what he did back at the in the flashbacks, and that's why she's not been able to use powers for a long time. And basically, this idea that when you transfer power, and this was set up before, is that bad things can happen because it's not when you steal someone's power, it does bad things. And the demon that has been basically chasing around, killing people and trying to kill Zatanna is Zatara. That he became a demon by, sucking up magic from people, and particularly his daughter. So. Yeah, that's a really interesting thing. It does make me think that the confrontation with the monster is going to not just be a fight, it's probably going to become something a bit more than that once they get into it. I suspect she'll have a conversation with her father by the end of the story. Which is issue 5, I think, because issue 5 is the last one.
Yeah, so I thought, for whatever reason, I thought this was the last one. And so I was like, well, we have a lot of resolution to get to. And then when it said to be continued, I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's one more. So that said, I do feel like there's a lot that's being left unsaid, right? I don't think it's going to be as simple as Zatara becoming a demon because of stealing the powers. I think the Conjurers, because remember, we also had the Conjurers going back to the house, and they seemed like they were up to something else.
I'm sure there's more to it for sure. Yeah. But I do think he probably did steal her magic. Maybe he had a good reason for it, but it does seem like he did that.
As to make her like not a target or something.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we see a little bit of a flashback as to how she met Constantine, which kind of bookmarks with her and Constantine kind of rekindling when they go to Paris. Basically, they're in the diner where the other two are fighting, Bunny Girl and the stranger, and Constantine sort of portals them away to Paris, and great full page or 2-page spread there when she's like sticking her head out of the window in Paris. Very pretty, very colorful. It's got that kind of palette that what do you call it? So it's all lilacs and purples and blues and whatnot, just with a hint of yellow and green for highlights.
It's like it's almost like a color grade, right? Because like where the Eiffel Tower and stuff is on that page, it's all magenta and pink and purple, and then there's a color grade. I don't know how else to explain it.
No, it's good. In fact, all the yellow, other than the sun in the background, all comes from like light that's coming from inside the hotel room. So it really gives this sense of like outside feeling different from the inside, and all it is basically that yellow rim of light going down her back. Basically, that's doing that. It's
very psychedelic, and I don't mean it in a trippy way, right? It's just very, very like vibrant and eye catching, and because everything in the hotel room is like this, is this color palette.
Oh, pardon me. They have sex basically, and the others bicker when they realize they're gone. They start fighting and like, wait, what's happening? And the stranger gets worried because she realizes that something bad might be happening with the casters, and goes running back to them. And does in fact see that there's chaos happening. There's their base is like crumbling, and there's lightning going off, and it seems like they might be getting killed. So all chaos. Whereas Constantine, meanwhile, admits that he was actually sent to meet Zatanna by the casters back when he first met her, basically to potentially kill her if she is what they think she is. And he made the decision upon meeting her and also having sex with her, which might have colored his opinion a little bit, that she's not this dangerous person that they think she is, so he chose to just leave and not kill her.
Yeah, I love the whole thing when he's looking at her in the bed and she's doing magic in her sleep. It's almost as like, she does magic in her sleep. She's not going to hurt a fly, Just one of those things.
Depends if she's having a nightmare or not and what the magic is. I mean, it could get dangerous.
In Constantine's terms, though, this is small potatoes, So, but yeah, and he leaves her a present because they meet on her birthday, right? At the school.
Leaves her a top hat. Which has a magic thing inside it, which basically blocked anyone from finding her. He was basically protecting her with that, and effectively, like her dad coming to find her and the casters finding her is all kind of like stem from all this. But yeah, she basically remembers her dad taking her magic. We get a great page of that happening with all this sort of energy. It basically was like fire like coming out of her and going towards her dad.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. So yeah, Stranger is like, terrified to see that the casters are falling, their base is burning, and yeah, so it's a whole thing. Zatanna basically kind of puts some things together, and realizes like what her dad's done, and that this demon that's going around is him, and that she has to do something about it. So yeah, she actually does magic at the end. She thanks Constantine, and she says hello stranger backwards, which takes her to Stranger in the caster's place and says, hey, we got to go take care of this demon. Stranger isn't really feeling that great about working with Zatanna at this moment, but she's like, look, I saved your life when you came to save, when you were saving me at the theater back in issue 1 and the demon showed up. I went out of my way to save you even without powers, and I think on some level you feel like you can trust me because of that. So take my hand and let's go and deal with this demon. And it's a whole thing. So the issue ends with them. I can only describe this as like them walking into the mouth of madness, because it's like a big mouth that's open that they're walking into.
It looks like one of those like carnival fun houses that's a big open clown mouth. Yeah, no, Mouth of Madness is a perfect description. Also, there's a thing where they're having their conversation before she extends her hand, where the stranger says that Zatanna is dead, and Zatanna goes, he's a demon, that's not dead. So again, I feel like there's more on here, because if they fully believed he was a demon, why do the casters believe that he's just dead? So yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on here, and same with the bunnies. And looking there, that when we get the flashback of Zatanna taking her magic, you have the bunnies watching from the woods. So it's almost like, I don't know, there's something about their magic that's trying to also protect Zatanna. So it feels like there's these two forms of magic that are at odds that I feel by the end she's going to be, having to balance. So we'll see.
Yeah, also I wonder if we'll get into more like, obviously some magic was left in her that was untapped, and she's. So I'm curious if we get like more of a reason why it's coming back more and more. She's growing up. Is it just a time thing, or is like a cause of that that's doing it? So
and then when she puts her costume on, basically, the get ready. I think that's another great page, where she says, magic get ready backwards. Just the way that the colors come off of that, but she's, all kind of colored normal. Everything comes from her. It just looks real cool.
Yeah. Especially since like, the beams of light coming from her are like all different colors, and it feels like it's ignoring whatever color palette we had before. It's just like, here's everything. So it's nice. Sets us up for the final issue. Curious to see what this showdown is going to be like. What were you giving Zatanna bring down the house?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it as much as the first couple issues, I would say. And I don't know if that's just because there's too much Constantine in it, but
as an encounter with that is like, yeah, you're still like Constantine.
So I'm going to go with a 7.5, but personal taste may be impacting that a bit. So just full disclosure.